new year and a new season of the Lap Down. It is officially 2026. We are starting season 3 of the Lap Down. I cannot believe we're already 3 years into this. And just want to give a big shout out to Will, the Alkali Project, our man Cobra, who is with us here tonight. Be sure to check out the Alkali Project's music over on Spotify or wherever you get your music. But tonight we have Ryan, Jamie, JP was with us. I don't know what happened.
And I think his network dropped out, so he'll probably be back.
Okay. And then with us tonight is our special guest, Cobra, for the first time on the Lap Down. Welcome in, sir.
Yeah, it's an honor, Greg. I mean, last time I was actually technically on the Lap Down was I made a quick cameo, but now here I am, filling the spot.
Yep. I remember that you were you popped in when we were doing our little special Turner episode about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, you guys were on
a year and a half ago already.
Yes, yeah. It was.
I thought that was like one off season ago.
I mean, you could say a year and a half almost. But tonight we're going to do something a little different tonight. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Circle B Diecast. Check out circlebdiecast.com for all of your diecast needs for the 2026 season. They have all of the special paint schemes, all of the drivers, and use promo code LAPDOWN at checkout to receive $5 off.
Very nice looking diecast, not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. But we're just going to jump right in. This is a special episode tonight. We were supposed to do it last week, but scheduling conflicts got in the way. Last Monday at 3 p.m. or 3:30 p.m., NASCAR went live and announced the championship format for 2026 and beyond for all 3 National Touring Series. And I got to say, I am super excited about it because the chase is on. The chase.
NASCAR, thank you.
Yep. The chase for the championship is back. It will be like it was when it ran from 2004 to 2013. It will be 26 regular season races and then 10 chase races. 16 drivers up from the 12 that was it 10 or 12?
I believe it was 12, even though
13 if you count the Jeff Gordon year.
Okay. All right. So up from the 12 and most points at the end of the season wins. And that goes for the Cup Series, the now O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and the Truck Series. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will have 12 drivers, and I believe the Truck Series will have 10.
Yeah, they're normal playoff.
And not one Jeep to be found, considering.
And but there was some like points changes and stuff made too. Like the winner of the race, or the winner of each race will now receive 55 points instead of the 40 points.
Yep.
And when the chase starts, whoever is seated highest in the points or the point standings, when the chase starts, they will have a 25-point cushion going into the first race of the chase. And that, I believe, goes for all 3 series. But the one thing that I was most excited about when they announced this was that the win and you're in is gone. Yes. Done completely. No more fluke wins to get into the playoffs. The playoffs are dead. I am so excited about it. You guys know my advocacy for them getting rid of the win and you're in. I hated it so much. But we are going to start with Ryan's thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the biggest problem with the previous format was the win and you're in. The fact that a win in and you're in leads to embarrassments like Dylan at Richmond 2 years ago, or other situations where it's like, oh yeah, down to the final stretch at Daytona, a 5-car pack, any of which could win and upset the apple cart as to who makes the playoffs.
Welcome back, JP.
After being entirely irrelevant for 25 weeks. Now you make those other weeks really matter to stay consistent throughout the entire season. The one part of this that I'm not overly thrilled with, though, so far is the and it's more so just something I'm curious to see how it'll work, because not going to bash something until I've seen it in action, but I do kind of wish that there was some form of playoff points where drivers could earn an even bigger advantage by being good in the regular season rather than it being the same gap. If they win the regular season by 1 point or 50 points, they get the same gap to second.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And again, it's one of those things that in practice it might work really well, and that's just something that we'll have to see with time. But
yeah. Before we get to our next one or our next person, I want to say, like, you hit the nail on the head when you said that a minute ago. Consistency is key. We're not going to have, a 15th place average driver throughout the season go out and win the championship anymore, like Joey Logano in 2024. I'm going to make a 2026 bold prediction for this season and beyond. I don't think Joey Logano wins another championship in his entire career.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see if Joey Logano and his team kind of adjust their strategy as opposed to the go for the win at all cost kind of style that they've had, and see if they maybe change that up to with the new points format. I mean, it's kind of the thing I've always said whenever people try and argue with me about, like, oh, Jeff Gordon should have 7 championships. It's like, yeah, because Jimmy Johnson wouldn't have raced any differently.
I disagree.
The format
I will disagree with that notion on Jeff deserves 7 championships, because even though me and my family were big Jeff Gordon fans back then, okay, boomer. But some of the years that Jeff Gordon ran were very inconsistent, and Jimmy Johnson deserved those wins. But I cannot say that Jeff Gordon deserved more. He did deserve a couple more championship trophies during the next 10 years.
I could see it maybe being a split of I could see
maybe
it being
one
more
or two, but not
between the two of them. But
yeah, but I don't think 7 was ever in the cards for Jeff Gordon at all, especially with the young talent that was coming up and absolutely owning NASCAR at the time.
Well, and where that number 7 comes from, though, if you
Petty, Earnhardt, Jimmy Johnson, I know where you come from.
No, it comes from, if you look at the full season points that would have been earned throughout those given years, Jeff Gordon would have had the highest number of points in a Winston Cup style format in the throughout those years.
Yes.
So. But that would be assuming that everybody raced exactly the same style despite a completely different points format.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get JP's thoughts.
JP, check your mic.
Cannot hear you, sir.
Still not hearing you, JP.
And we have a bunch of ear. JP, you're on mute. Your mic. We can't hear you.
Come here, Brookie.
No, we
Still
can't
hear you.
We can't hear you. So while JP gets that figured out, let's go to Jamie.
All right. Well, first thing I want to say, I want to do almost like a funeral for the chase format that we are exiting from.
No.
Not gone too soon. Definitely perfectly placed. However, you did bring us some great moments. You brought us the Melon Man wall run. You brought us some
Melon, you mean?
pretty wild finishes. And thank you for the memories that you did create, but I'm happy to see you go.
All right. What about you, Cobra? I know you don't really follow racing all that much, but
unfortunately, the playoff format was the reason why I fell out of NASCAR. That and Jeff Gordon retirement and the family members who were real deep into it, it just hurt to continue watching it. But I always thought that the playoffs were stupid. I always thought that that the old school Winston Cup format was the superior format, and could have been tweaked a little bit, but let the drivers race. The win the win and you're in scenario was always stupid because, in my opinion, it promoted laziness. It allowed the NASCAR racers.
Yes, it did.
It allowed the NASCAR racers to mainly just say, "Oh, I won the season. Oh, I can just coast." I could just coast until we get to that stage in the race where we can finally go all out.
Kurt Busch
And
2017
yes,
wins the season opener, doesn't do anything the rest of the season, and then doesn't even remember to wake up for the playoffs.
Or on the flip side of that, Cobra, you have guys that could get that one random win at like a Daytona or a Talladega who don't normally run up front, or someone who's really, really good at road courses, they get a win and get in, and it's just a waste of a spot.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why Greg Biffle never won, was the format was tweaked too hard, that he couldn't do anything despite his talent.
Well, but Greg Biffle is also on one of the best super speedway teams in the series, though.
Yes.
So.
Yep. No, I'm definitely. I'm sorry, Jamie. Did you have something?
Yeah, I was also going to say thank you to Mark Martin for being the voice of the people and forcing NASCAR to have the conversation. Even in the very beginning, when he knew that it was not a welcomed opinion amongst the NASCAR officials, he still pushed and pushed and pushed the envelope to make them talk about it, to make them think about it. So hats off to you, Mark Martin. Thank you for once again doing something.
It also helped. It also helped. Talk about Mark Martin. It also helps that Mark Martin was one of those NASCAR retirees to actually reach out to the internet culture, to people like Slap Shoes and Black Flags Matter and all those other podcasters, and actually discuss, what's wrong with the chase format. He was ahead of that, not only the chase format but the playoff format. So he was ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
No, you're good. Mark Martin was one of the biggest advocates for full season points to return. Now, me personally, I would have loved to see full season points return, at least just for one season, just to see how it went with today's drivers. But as Mark Martin said in the press conference last week, this is the best compromise that they could have come to. For not only the drivers, but the fans. Like, the fans were, the majority of them were tired of the playoffs. We were tired of these random fluke wins to get into the playoffs. The playoff points, guys getting eliminated by, one singular point, or your favorite driver getting eliminated because of a disqualification after the Roval race. But it was getting stale. Like I would say the first 2 years were pretty exciting. Like, it brought a good thrill factor. And it's like Jeff Gluck said the other day, NASCAR created the playoffs to have that quote unquote Game 7 moment that you would get in like the World Series or Game 7 of the NHL finals or whatever.
Yeah.
But
They wanted they wanted the Stanley Cup Game 7. That's what they wanted.
Right, but NASCAR is not other sports. NASCAR needed to stay true to who they were, and I'm really, really glad that they brought this back.
They wanted to gimmick motorsports.
Exactly.
The dam of legitimacy had bust with the playoff format.
Yeah, no, big time. But that's kind of like the gist of everything. I'm excited for 2026. JP, are you back with us? You want to give your thoughts real quick?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. I clocked to my computer.
Oh, no.
So fill me in. What are we talking about?
Return to the chase and the playoffs.
All right. I really like the new playoff format. New is old. I think it's really going to see who can rise to occasion, and my bold prediction, you guys are going to laugh.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Be bold, man.
Corey LaJoy wins the championship.
No,
He's going 23-11.
I am going 23-11 Bubba Wallace.
Wow, that is a deep cut. That's a deep cut, man.
So, Cobra, I know you're filling in today, but JP is known for his out-of-the-universe bold predictions. I was even going to commend Greg for sniping the very first bold prediction of 2026 away from JP with that Joey Logano comment. But JP is definitely one that will say something and then in the very next conversation tell us reasons why his bold prediction won't happen.
Well, to be fair, I am actually familiar with JP's outlandish bold predictions. And I gotta say, my friend, very spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. SVG 3 race win streak, including 2 oval wins.
Yeah. Let's JP, real quick. Let's take your bold prediction and put it into perspective real quick. Okay. If NASCAR ran the chase format in 2025, mathematically, Bubba Wallace would have been eliminated from the chase by Indianapolis, even though he did win that race, just because of inconsistency.
Yeah,
that's what you got to look at with this. Is it's not. There's no more playoff points. There's no more winning you're in and all that stuff. It's literally all based on consistency. Like you could run second or third the majority of the season and make the chase, but you could miss out on the championship by 150 points this year.
I will add to JP's here. I mean, it is possible that, as I said before, the win and you're in style format for the playoffs was an attempt to be lazy. It provided an excuse for laziness. Now, and in my opinion, now, if Bubba Wallace is going to actually do what JP has said, he needs to nut up or shut the fuck up and actually race and actually do his job and race. There is no excuse to bitch and moan. There's no excuse to complain now. You have to prove that you are here and that you're not a plumber / Make-A-Wish kid. It's now time for you to actually show that you are a three-time race winner. Now you need to make those skills shine, and so you can actually get into this chase format now. You're welcome, Greg.
Tell us how you really feel.
Cobra, hold on. Cobra, you are on the show permanently, okay? I love that. I love it.
Oh, no, what have I done?
Tell me how you really feel.
I say, that's pretty much exactly what Eli probably would have said in that same situation.
Yeah.
He might have been even more harsh with it.
Although Ryan, Greg, you guys are on the thumbnail. All right, I have no involvement with this. This is your show.
I'm just saying, like, we haven't even started the season yet, and we've had an all-time rant. So I love it. We are starting the season great.
Yep.
But
this is what I do on my other shows.
That's pretty much all I got. But we got a few minutes. A couple of other things that I wanted to point out that happened during the off season. Obviously, we were going to talk about the antitrust lawsuit from December. That was settled.
Online available if you want.
No. I mean, that's fine. I was just going to kind of give like the gist of it. Basically, they went 9 days. There was a lot of stuff that was exposed that was exposed on NASCAR's side. But on day 10, they ended up meeting and settling before the court session started.
It was the 5th day of week 2. So
yeah. And so basically one of the big things that we're getting from that is permanent charters, as well as 2311 receiving their full charter status back. Among some other things, I can't specifically remember. Ryan, if you want to pull that up while I'm still.
Yeah. So I mean, the big thing that they got was permanent charters. Yeah, they also are getting an increased, I believe, an increased percentage of the revenue. I didn't have I didn't have that part in front of me.
I don't think the amounts of revenue were disclosed, honestly.
Yeah, but reportedly, it is an increased percentage of it that they're going to be getting,
especially the international revenue, apparently.
Yeah, and then yeah, that was one of the things. The permanent charters. They also got, I think they got this like council thing that they there was a slight rework to their veto power that they've apparently had for years.
The strike system, it went from 3 to 5.
Yeah, so that gives them a little less power, but they've also only ever invoked the veto one time, and it didn't even stop the event that they were trying to stop. So
yeah, but
ultimately, I see that as almost a non-factor because again, they had so rarely used it.
Yep. But one of the big things that did come in the wake of that was the resignation of NASCAR Commissioner Steve Phelps.
Yep.
After all of that came out, it obviously wasn't disclosed as to why he resigned, but I would guess a lot of the stuff that got exposed in the courtroom was a big reason why.
I think some of the stuff that got exposed before the courtroom.
Yeah, possibly because he was a sniveling puppet for famous pill popper Brian France.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's the gist of that. But also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I will say about that though is I don't really know if him resigning is really going to do much because from everything that came out at the trial, it sounds more like Jim France was the one holding up a lot of the conversations around the charters and not Phelps. So,
yeah,
while I don't necessarily disagree that Phelps needed to go, I just think that it's not going to have the radical kind of change on NASCAR leadership that people would imagine from a chairman or VP resigning.
Right.
Essentially, he was a scapegoat.
He was commissioner. Sorry
for all this.
VP, but you know what I meant.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Jamie?
I said essentially he was a scapegoat for the core problem.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's going to be another conversation for another time because what 2025 has shown us is if the teams come together, they will spark a change when it's absolutely needed. And it's about time NASCAR got with the times and made things more appropriate for the teams.
Absolutely. Yep.
Unfortunately, they won't unionize because, Curtis Turner tried that and, well, we all know what happened there.
Yep. But like Jamie said, like the teams play a big part of it, but also the fans play a big part in it too. The fans technically, in my opinion, is what make the sport. Like if we as fans did not show up to a single race this year, we probably wouldn't have a 2027 season at all.
I say we might see events in the 2026 season getting canned.
Exactly my point. But moving on, before we close out, another topic about the off season is it was a very odd and tragic off season for NASCAR. It started in late November, early December with the sudden and tragic passing of Michael Annett, who passed away. He used to race for Junior Motorsports, got his one and only career win at Daytona in 2019 in the season opener. And then that followed with obviously the big one, the tragic passing of Greg Biffle, his wife, 2 kids, and 2 others on in an airplane crash in Statesville,
I
North
thought it was a
Carolina.
helicopter. I thought it was a helicopter. It was a,
No,
it was an
No,
airplane?
it was a plane crash.
No, it was an airplane.
I thought it
We're
was a
still
helicopter. Forgive me.
no, you're
Yep.
fine. We're still waiting on the official report from the NTSB on that, but they said that they took off, suffered some sort of issue, and then circled back around and crashed right before they landed, evidently killing everybody on board. They were on their way to Florida to spend the day with Cletus McFarland before going to the Bahamas for the Christmas holiday. And then about a week and a half after that was there was a large fire at a house in near Concord County, North Carolina, that took the home and the life of the Dennis Hamlin, who is Denny Hamlin's father. We already knew, obviously, that Denny's father was battling some health issues, and that was one of the things that motivated Denny in the 2025 season, especially late, to try to win the championship. Was that he said that was his father's last real shot to see him try to win one. But yeah, he ended up tragically passing away. So, like I said in our group chat, if you are the praying type, just pray for these drivers and families as we enter the 2026 season. And let's have a good one. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Denny Hamlin's gonna win it all this year. He's gonna be on the comeback tour.
Real quick, do we have an update on how his mom?
Either he wins it or he comes pretty close.
What was that, Ryan?
Do we have an update on how his mom was doing? Because his mom was in that fire too and had life-threatening at one point injuries.
I've only seen one update from Denny, and it said that she was doing okay, but I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, just
so-
figured, since
that-
we
that
talked
comes-
about his dad, figured we should definitely mention that too.
Yeah, this was on New Year's Eve. Denny Hamlin tweeted, "Thank you to everyone who has reached out with condolences on my father's passing. My mother continues to improve, and our family truly appreciates the outpouring of support and the respect for our privacy during this time." Other than that, I have not heard a word about Denny's mother.
Yeah. All right. Just wanted to make sure that we at least mentioned it.
Yeah. But there was like so many comments and tweets and stuff about Denny and like just how much support he has. You remember he was like NASCAR's biggest villain at one point, and now it seems like everyone is in support of him. I even told my wife a couple weeks ago, I said, I'm going to sound crazy for saying this, but I see myself cheering for Denny Hamlin in 2026.
If anyone can have a heel to face, if anyone can have a face turn, it's Denny Hamlin.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, that just goes back to JP's bold prediction about a 2311 driver winning, because I think isn't Denny Hamlin a part of 2311?
Yeah, he is
one of
the
the
11
owners.
in 2311.
Yep, he is one of the owners along with Michael Jordan.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that's where the 23 comes from.
The
Yep.
11, you mean? Yeah, the 23 is Jordan, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, the 23 is Jordan, and the 11 comes from Denny.
Yep. But he still runs for Joe Gibbs Racing, and there was a lot of speculation after obviously the championship race last year if he was even going to return in 2026 or if he was just going to hang him up and say peace out.
I'm still curious if at some point if he'll be kind of forced to / encouraged to either retire sooner or move in-house to his own race team, because obviously I feel it's been weird that he owns one race team but drives for another. Obviously they're closely affiliated.
Not necessarily, Ryan. Because Dale Earnhardt did the same. Dale Earnhardt Sr. did the same thing with Richard Childress Racing and also his own Earnhardt Racing, organization at the time. So This is not wrong, not necessarily wrong, because it just reminds me of a similar situation with Richard Childress Racing and DEI before Teresa Earnhardt burned it to the ground.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I obviously wasn't around back then, but how long was DEI a thing before Earnhardt passed.
He
I
started
think it was
DEI in 1999, I believe.
yes,
so it was
because it
around-
was Steve Park and Dale Earnhardt a part of that.
Yeah, so
then
it was only a 3-year thing before, obviously, his tragic passing.
Correct.
Yeah, because that was kind of my thought process, was that Denny Hamlin was going to finish out his current contract with Joe Gibbs Racing and then potentially head in house, but he just signed a 2-year extension to stay there. Again, it just feels weird, especially with how politicized NASCAR and how money driven NASCAR is, where it's like, okay, if you have two teams speaking out, Joe Gibbs and 2311 both speaking out against something, it makes it a lot easier to force change than if you have just one team speaking out against it.
First time, Ryan.
Hmm?
I'd say this is your first time experiencing something like this at NASCAR.
No, I didn't say it's my first time.
Well,
I just had to do the first time meme, with the guys on the gallows going first time.
So,
well, speaking of Dale Earnhardt, this is the 25th anniversary this year of his passing.
Yep.
I watched it live.
25 years.
I was not alive.
I watched it live.
I was 6 years old when that happened. It was crazy. But JP, what do you got?
oh, I was just going to say, I know it's a special episode, but does Jamie have a trivia question lined up?
We are not doing trivia until next week.
Okay.
But I will say, bring up one more thing before we close the show out. Obviously, we are coming up on the 2026 season, and within the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of driver announcements and, people going to certain cars or maybe doing one-offs and whatnot. But the biggest one that I saw, and obviously everybody else saw it, was the return of Smoke. Tony Stewart will be running the number 25 Ram truck for Colleague Racing in the season opener at Daytona. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's pretty awesome. There's some speculation. I know I saw Kyle Busch say what he said about it, and that was
I didn't see what Cobblish said. What did he say?
he said warned Tony Stewart on how aggressive NASCAR has been lately.
Well, we know how vocal Tony Stewart's been on NASCAR here lately. That's
that's
not a private issue.
But
now my question is, Greg, is this a full truck season, or is this just shots and goggles?
It's just a one-off. He's running
Yeah,
only
it's a one-off.
Daytona.
Shots and goggles. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dodge is going to have an all-star truck that's going to rotate through different Cup drivers or other drivers from other motorsports coming in and taking that truck for one-offs, along with potentially some young drivers who are basically getting tryouts for their truck team in the future.
Now, I will say, while we're on the COVID thing, I'm looking forward to that 14 truck and what they have in store for that.
Okay, 14 truck. Who is that? Because they announced all the numbers all at once, and the only one I remember is Brendan Queen.
I don't even know.
Being disappointed that he won't be able to carry the same number up through the ladder system.
No, there's not even an entry list yet, so I don't even know.
Well, I know Haley was announced. I don't remember what is Haley the 14.
No, Haley's the 10. The 14 and the gong.
I thought the 10 was Daniel Dye.
Or it might be the die.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I'm flipping through Colleague's Twitter page right now because they posted some of the paint schemes for all that, and I haven't even seen anything as regarding the 14 truck.
Yeah, because I know the 25 is like their. I believe the 25 is either the development or the all-star car.
That is the all-star car.
Yeah.
25 is the all-star car.
Speaking of which, starting January 25th is the Ride for the Seat.
Yep.
Race for the Seat series, where drivers from different motorsports disciplines get to try out to run their truck for the 2026 season.
Yeah, and so that one, then the number hasn't been announced for which truck number they're running for that one.
No, I mean, I'm all the way back to November, so I don't see anything regarding the 14 truck. But obviously, anyways, that's where we are going to close the show out tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I am excited for 2026. I think it's going to be a great season all around. We are 27 days away from the Daytona 500. And
let's say we're what? Yeah, we're coming right up on the
Rolex 24
Flash. Yeah.
Yeah, I say the Rolex 24 is this weekend. Depending on the weather, you guys need to maybe pay attention to that. There's a I'm not trying to bring anything else extra up, but there is a threat of a potential major winter storm in the southeast this weekend, like crippling winter storm. So that may have some impacts on the 24 at Daytona. We will see. But we are 27 days away from Daytona. We are 13 days away from the Clash at Bowman Gray. And yeah, I'm just excited. Cobra, thank you again for joining us tonight. It was good to have you. Hopefully you can come back. You are welcome anytime, as we tell all of our guests.
And of course, as you know, every single one of you guys is always welcome to come to the other Handed Down Sports Media shows that we have.
Yep.
You know, like the Hard Count, Dirt and Turf, Biscuits and Penalties, Handed Down, Beat Down, or Pro Wrestling Podcast, all the other podcasts.
Yep. And don't forget to check out The Gutter's Edge. That is our new bowling podcast hosted by Jason and Ricky.
Yep. Tomorrow night, 8:00. Check it out. We have some very special guests planned for that. We will probably have a surprise pro on the PBA tour who will probably be joining us in the future. I can't reveal who that will be, but we are in talks to have him on. He is a very big name. And no, it's not Pete Weber. I wish it was Pete Weber. It's not Pete Weber.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Facts.
But no. Yeah, just thanks for joining us. And as always, for our sponsor affiliate, the Circle B Diecast, circlebdiecast.com. Promo code LAPDOWN at checkout for $5 off. But until next time, for Cobra, JP, Ryan, and Jamie, I am your host, Greg Farmer, and we will see you guys next week to preview the Clash and get ready for 2026.